stencil. The stencil looked mad like a children drew it. And I was like, isn't the stencil supposed to look like the tattoo? Yeah. And he's like, nah, I just need the lines. I just need the framework, the lines. And I was like, all right, let me see how it comes on the skin. So the first time he did it, it looked like mush. And I'm like, I don't think that's good. And he's like, nah, don't worry. I'm like, you can see the lines? He's like, yeah, of course. But like all the ink was like smushed together. I'm like, nah, you gotta do it over, bro. And he's like, well, it's gonna have to be a different one. And thankfully I did, because then I chose the longer one. And this one looks way better than the smaller one.
That makes sense.
But I was like, I don't know. But when he started doing his thing, I was like, oh, okay. Doing the shading, so I was like, oh, okay. All right, bet. So that was that. And I think it looks good.
Oh yeah, for sure came out nice. Have you seen that dude on TikTok? He does he kind of messes around with people though. I think he's in New York. But like he'll draw like little like stencils or be like kind of like stick figures and like mess around with the client, and then like he'll like kind of like go back and forth with them and like talk shit a little bit, and they'll be like, bro, you sure you can do this? And then like when he comes done, it's like beautiful. That's what it kind of reminded me. He was like, I just need the lines and like the idea and I can put it down. Like,
but like when they do tattoos usually, because I mean that when they put the stencil on your arm, it looked like that, right?
Oh nah, he freehanded this.
No way.
Yeah, so like he grabbed a Sharpie and was like, so what do you want in it? And then he was like, well, first let me go all around your arm and like let's see how like it makes your arm look. And I'm like, cool. And he started like literally just drawing lines, and I was like, alright. And he's like, well, what do you want? And then kind of goes like partially into my name because we have an amakoa, which is like our spirit animal, and it's a shark. And my great grandma, she would go to this place called Sharks Cove in North Shore, Oahu. And she would like sit down with my grandma and talk with sharks and like literally chop it up. And my dad said it was like one of the craziest things he's ever seen, and I'm named after her. So I wanted to put it on myself, and I was like, oh, I need to have a shark somewhere. And he was like, all right, cool, we can make this look like a shark mouth. And that's why I go like, you can see like the shark mouth right here.
That is fine.
And then,
he free-handed that?
Yeah, he free-handed it. It was like, so like, what do you want? And I was like, oh, my mom's family is like fishermen too, so I got fishes right here, like with men, so like fishermen, and then warriors for like the spears.
Yeah, I see that, yeah.
And then like everything, and like there's like flowers and stuff like representing my parents and my siblings and stuff like that. And like at the same time, it like brings nature into it as well, because like the way of life, like everything like comes from something like that. Yeah. So like that's what we put on our skin too. So
yeah, I want to dive into that. I want to get into that a little bit more as we speak about like the culture and where you come from. But welcome to the show. We got JAVAN. JAVAN, right?
Yes, sir.
So like just the backstory. You know, wanted to get you on the show early on, but you're new to the circuit. You're new to the European circuit, so I wanted to let you get a little bit more of the bearings. You know what I'm saying? You're here for football as well. I want you to play a little bit more games. Now you're here. It's been 3 games, right?
3 games.
So now you kind of feel what the vibe is like, right? Yeah. So welcome to Theee, and we're just gonna chop it up. You know what I'm saying? I want people to get to know you. I want people to learn more about you, and we'll go from there. First things first. JAVAN, you have a long name.
Yeah.
How do you pronounce your name? And you were speaking about what it means. Like, tell the audience what it means.
Okay, so my full name is JAVAN Achoy La'anui Kailihiva A Quin Jr., named after my dad.
Let me say that again.
JAVAN Achoy La'anui Kailihiva A Quin Jr.
Oh, Junior. Okay, that's after that, Junior.
Yeah, so I'm named after my dad.
That's cool.
JAVAN is my English name. It's in the book of Genesis, and that's pretty much it. Achoy is partly Chinese.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, you said Achoy. I thought actually like Vietnamese, like bok. They have bok choy, right?
That's Chinese. But yeah. So,
okay.
On Troy, my dad told me it's like supposed to be some type of luck from the Chinese.
Okay.
And then Walanui, I spoke about it a little bit, which is my grandma's last name with the shark, so I put it on my.
So it means shark.
Oh no, it doesn't mean shark, but it was her name, and that was the significance of putting the shark on my body.
That's dope.
That's part of it. And then Kylie Hiva is my grandma's uncle. He was Kylie Hiva. And then he only had one son, and it was their last name.
Mm-hmm.
And then my grandma gave it to my dad so the name wouldn't get like lost. And then Quinn is my last name, but it was one side Quan before that. But my family, my Chinese part came from China to California and Hawaii. And when they came, they changed the name from one side Quan to Quinn.
Quinn. Okay.
Yeah. So like my dad told me if I ever meet an Quinn in the world, it's 100% my cousin because that
it was changed to Quinn. Oh,
yeah.
Wow. Did the USA give them that pronunciation, or they changed it for a new pronunciation to make it sound more like US like? That's what I mean. That happens when you're in like a public space, but you should still have some courtesy and be like, "Excuse me.
Can I do this real quick?" Yeah.
Like I don't understand it's sad to say, like even in New York City where it's just like people don't really care about your personal space, but in the way they do, like people say excuse me. If you're passing through somebody, if you're in a store or something like this, and you're passing through their vision or you're in the sidewalk, like excuse yourself. Like people, I don't know. I'm sorry. I won't go on a tangent. But like even they don't even look both ways. It's crazy. That's just crazy. That's just beyond me.
I was gonna say something like that.
That just like gets me. God. It's like you're crossing the street. It doesn't matter if it's one way. You never know what's coming on the opposite side. They just be like la 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 la.
I'm like, bro, ain't no way. Or like, just like you said, excuse me. Like they don't even have like a simple word. Like
they do though. Pardon me. Like we even learned that in the USA.
Yeah, it's pardon. Yeah, it's like I feel like anywhere me and Raekwon go, like they don't even say it. Like they don't even touch you. They just stand there sometimes. I'm like,
or if you're like if you're walking towards a direction that somebody's in, they literally just stand there. Yeah. Almost sometimes just want to walk right into it. And they'll be like, "What the fuck?" I'm like, "Get out of the way, move."
Or like even like walking on the street, like these little kids in like scooters, or like even like people like 20s and 30s don't even like ring the bell. They just zoom right past you. I'm like, bro, I could have boomed you.
Yeah,
like
it's like
you could have fell right off, bro.
Yeah. But anyway, we're back again. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share to Dander Productions, and also follow YouTube. Follow the Instagram page. So, you were saying about your name.
Yeah, so
my
last name, when they came in from China, they pretty much just changed their name. Just from one side Quan to Quinn. Mm-hmm. Try to make it sound more American, I guess you could say. Yeah. And then like even like in Hawaii, I guess you could say like they kind of did that when they were doing like birth certificates and stuff. Like it's hard to find, like go back in time when they first made like birth certificates for like Hawaiians, because they would put like part Hawaiian and they wouldn't put like half Hawaiian or like something like that. They would just put part Hawaiian. Like,
but would they put like Chinese or Japanese?
Yeah, they would put like, so like when I did this like research in college, because I took a class where it was pretty much talking about your family history and stuff like that. And at the same time, I was trying to get Hawaiian homelands, which you can like, if you're more than 50% Hawaiian, you can put into a bid to get a piece of land for 100 years, no matter what, under your name. And I'm trying to fill out these paperwork when I turn 18, so I'm trying to figure out like how much Hawaiian I have in me and my stuff like that. And when I was going back into like birth certificates of like my family, like even my great grandma, like she's still alive on my mom's side, and I go see her a couple times a year, like when I can. But like I'm pretty sure on her birth certificate it just says part Hawaiian. It's like when you go back in time, it's hard to tell, and like some people like have like discrepancies, like saying like I'm more Hawaiian than this, and they're like blah blah blah. So like yeah, like my
they say part Hawaiian, so it's like you could be 20% or 50 or 100%. Or, I mean, if you're 100%, you're not part. But you need a certain percentage to have this land.
Yeah.
Wow.
And you have to put your name into a bid and hopefully get picked out of that bid. And there's a lot of people in that bid because there's only a certain amount of land that they can give away. And
the governors and the officials don't know what part, how much you are.
Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's wild. Is your name still in the running for the bid?
I'm pretty sure my mom finished up the paperwork and stuff when I went in, but like even my grandma put her name into it and still didn't get a bid.
Yeah.
So like it's kind of like
that's really interesting. Like you have the like Eastern the Asian. You have the Asian, not the East Coast of the USA doesn't have that Asian influence or that Asian migrancy, but I think on the West Coast, it's more like concentrated, you know what I'm saying, a little up and down the coast. And it's really interesting to learn about like that migration. Because on the East Coast, we have like the Italians and the Polish and whoever comes from like Western Europe, you know, old Europe, you know what I'm saying? So I've always been interested, I've always been like fascinated, like Polynesian and Samoan and Hawaiian, they all have like this similar background, like the similar like bloodline. Tell us about. So you're from Hawaii, or you?
I was born in the mainland,
Arizona. Okay.
But my grandma and like my mom and dad and all them were born in Hawaii, so I say I'm from Hawaii because that's part of me. Because like that's just the land I came from, my bloodline and everything like that. So I say I'm from Hawaii. I go back every summer, go to my grandma, see my cousins, my aunties and stuff like that. And like what you say is like the Asian influence on the West Coast is crazy. And I did a little bit, like I said, studying about like the Hawaiian culture and stuff like that my freshman year and trying to dig into that. And they were literally bringing these Asian, like Japanese, Chinese people and literally paying them pennies on the dollar to do all the work that like Hawaiians or like the white people were like. So they just bring in 1 million people in, and that's how I would say Hawaii has turned into like a melting pot of like a lot of people where you got like Chinese, Japanese, Hawaiian, Samoans, and you get like there's like even like Cuban influences and stuff like that, where like little hints of like people have like Latina in them or stuff like that, which is crazy. And like growing up, people would like call them like mutts and stuff. And like
they call the Latinos mutts?
No, I would put like mutts as like everybody
joins in there.
It's like there's just so much, just so much different bloodlines, and like some people even have German in them and stuff like
I'm a mutt.
Yeah,
I'm a mutt. I have a lot of different bloodlines: English, French, Portuguese, obviously African. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I get that.
I feel that. I mean, like it's just crazy, like just looking in time and like seeing how like people get pushed from different like countries. Like I'll hear sometimes like obviously like the Asian influence and like all I can think of is like Genghis Khan like taking over everywhere. Like I'm the man, like having $1 million and just literally taking over dynasties.
Right.
Like,
I was just talking to somebody the other day, Indian cat, and I'm really something that I'm trying to learn more about is like this gypsy thing. Like, you know, I started back in Czech Republic when I played ball, and you hear gypsy, and I was like, the first time I heard gypsy was The Hunchback of Notre Dame with Esmeralda, and I'm like, wait, what, gypsy? What does that mean? They're like, oh, we don't like those gypsies, and I started to learn like the gypsy people are like these nomadic people that come from India. So I met this cat the other day, and he's just like, yeah, I'm from India. He was kind of breaking it down. He's like more studied and he's like more learned about this topic. He's gypsy. And he's like, yeah, we're from a town called, like, I don't remember verbatim, I have to think, but it starts with like Genghis, like Genghis something. And I was like, is this city named after Genghis Khan? He's like, yes, exactly. I'm like, he even made it down there. So probably all the Indian people are also mixed in, what's the word? Their origins come from Mongolia or, you know, this Asia, the Asia Minor, so this period or this space. You know, and then it comes down to Eastern Europe, you know.
It's just crazy. Like, like even like you said, like I'm still kind of new on that gypsies. Like the first time I ever met a gypsy was in high school, and like I was like, bro, who are these people? Like they head to toe, like flashing out, really iPhones, chains. I'm like, bro, but they don't look like anybody. Like you know what I mean? Like they don't look like African Americans. They don't look like white people. They're just kind of like in their own category. And I'm like, bro, who are these people? And they're like, you gotta kind of stay away, like sometimes, cause like they just scam. What do you mean, bro? Like they'll just like, I don't know. Like I've heard stories of like people like go to like food hungry, and then they be having like Gucci on, like head to toe. I'm like, what you mean you hungry, bro? Like you got like $500 worth of gear on, bro. Like what you mean by that? But I mean, I
feel like the kind of like the outlook and the perspective or the perception of gypsies. Yeah, I think there's some like shady ones, some shiesty ones, but I also see like there's a lot of like artists that are gypsies. There's a lot of singers and people that are in enterprise and like running businesses and things like that. So I think it's like
it's like everybody.
It's like when they say black people are like lazy, but black people, you know, doing this and this and that. Spanish people are doing this and this and that. So I think it's just when you're different in a space, obviously you have a magnifying glass over you. So if something bad happens in your culture or you know within your race, it pops up. Yeah, it pops up. So yeah. We talked about origins and stuff like that. So like you were born in the mainland, you were born in the States. Where in the States were you born?
Arizona.
Okay. Ooh, it's hot out there.
Very hot. It's different for sure. Like even talking like with people, everyone's like, you guys got like cactuses and stuff. And I'm like, yeah. Like,
you just think desert, yeah.
It's like 15, 20 minutes away, like you can go down like this path and it'd be like literally like cars. Like when you like when Lightning McQueen gets lost and he goes like in the back roads and it's just like mountains, red, cactuses everywhere, stuff like that. It's the same scenery. It's some of my favorite things to like go see, like the sunsets at night, like beautiful. Like when they like talk about the valley, like the suns, and they have like those jerseys, like that's literally how the sun looks like when it goes down. Like you get like purples, oranges, like all types of different colors, reds. Like it's literally one of like some of the most beautiful sunsets I've seen. Like even in Hawaii, like they got sunsets like that, and like to me, I think the Hawaii sunsets are the most beautiful just because like the beach and stuff.
Yeah, they got the foreground and the background. Oh yeah, everything.
Just like something like that, but like I think that competes with it because like it just brings a different vibe to it. You know what I mean? Like when you get like a purple in there and like red, orange, and stuff like that, it's like dang, like who else sees this kind of stuff?
Is the sun bigger? Like when it sets, like sometimes even in Europe. When it sets, it depends on where you are. Like last year I was in Shakespeare or another city, and I swear to God, like during the summertime when the sun set and it set over you guys been out there, it would set over the train station. That joint it would look so beautiful, and it would be much bigger than during the day. And it's just like, damn, like how I'm not an astronaut or astrophysicist, but it's just like. How does that happen? You know, the tilt of the earth towards the. I don't know, it's crazy. So I'm imagining there's a lot of different types of things on the West Coast that we don't see on the East Coast.
Yeah, I would for sure like even when I was like in Chicago, I would say the sunsets are even different out there.
For sure.
Because like I would say, like you said, like the sun looks smaller in the Midwest to me compared to like Arizona or Hawaii. Because like maybe like where we're at in like. On Earth, I guess, maybe like the tilt of the sun, like I don't know. It's hard to keep the job, but you know what I mean? Like, I feel like that could play a big part in it. Yeah,
for sure.
Like, yeah, I don't know.
It's fascinating, and it's like this is why you want to lead. This is why it's so crazy when we say even tonight, like our friend, she asked you where you're from, and she's like, and you're like, I'm from Hawaii. She's like, why are you here? It's like we want to see the world because you don't understand like how different things can be until you leave the nets, until you leave your I wouldn't say comfort zone, but until you leave the space that been brought up and you see time and time and time again. You know what I'm saying?
I wouldn't even say like it is breaking the comfort zone because like you're coming to a whole different like side of the world. Like you don't speak their language.
Right.
Like maybe some people might know English. Like you just never know. And like coming out here, or like that was like one of the main goals my parents had for me when they left Hawaii. Is like to not be like a one semester wonder. Is what my parents would call them. It was like, because there's a lot of people from Hawaii and they come to the mainland and they only stay for a semester and they got all the talent in the world to compete for like whatever sport they play in. Like, yeah, like I've seen it in my cousins. Like they'll call me and be like, "Bro, how did you go 5 years away from home?" And I'm like, well, one, I grew up in the mainland, so like I'm kind of used to like just leaving and picking up. Because like when I was growing up, I played club baseball and club football, so like I was always on the road. Like when I was 8, I went to New York and played in Cooperstown, New York.
Wow.
And like I played there for like 3 weeks, and I was away from my parents. Like my parents didn't come with me. I came with my coach, with my friends and stuff like that. So like from a young age, I feel like I kind of broke out of my comfort zone of like just staying in just my state.
Yeah, so
And like, but my parents, like when I was growing up, thought I was gonna be the opposite because I was like always stuck to my mom. Like
that's what I was gonna ask you. I was gonna ask you, like, did your inspiration to start to leave home and obviously ultimately be in Europe come from you having to travel on your travel teams, or did you already have that kind of like instilled in you?
I for sure think it came from like sports.
Okay.
Like, cause like when I was little, like OPE, like they people like when you get stuck to your parents call you like OPE, and it's like, and that's like it's kind of like a muscle that grows on the side of like the cliffs in Hawaii, like and it's like, yeah, like it's like a very different taste. Like I can't even like describe it. Like you eat it raw, and that's like one of my favorite things to eat.
Wait, it's a muscle?
Yeah, it's like
like a clam?
Yeah, like a clam
that grows on a mountain?
Yeah, like on the rocks, so like right next to the ocean, like when you like caves like this, and I have like muscles stuck like this, and then we crashing, like it literally just gets stuck.
Interesting.
And so people like call you OP, and like when I was little, my mom would be like, "You're OP." Like I wouldn't want to go to my cousin's house and go to sleepovers and stuff like that. I'd be like, "No, I want to go home. Like I don't want to do that. Like I don't want to go hang out with my friends. Like." But like come over sleep body. Yeah, I'm like, nah, bro. Like I want to go home. Like I don't like that. But then like once I started traveling and doing like going to see New York, it's crazy. Like at a little age, like you're starting to think of like things like when you're young, like you learn in the States. It's like one of the first things is Statue of Liberty. And I was like, oh, I'm good. I can see it. Like this is so cool. And like I come back to school, I have like, all these pictures. I'm like, bro, look what I did. And like even like when I was there, we had like competitions, like who had the strongest arm, who get the most home runs, who's the fastest, like stuff like that. And I got like pins, like we traded pins with like other teams. So like I have 100 pins at home from different teams that are from like Georgia, Cali, New York, Midwest. Like so like just like seeing this stuff, I'm like, oh, this is like sick. Like this is what the world has. And like then next year we went to like Nebraska, Omaha, and saw like the World Series. U of A played in it, and I'm like, bro, there's just so much different things out in the world. And like going to Cali to play football in Vegas, and it's like at a little age, I'm like, oh my god, what is this?
That's crazy.
And like coming here, it's like a whole different vibe because like back home, like everybody speaks English, but it's a different like slang in English, I guess you could say. Like, so like I really enjoyed that growing up, and I was like, but there's gotta be more out there. Like coming to Europe, and like I kind of learned from it, like TikTok. Like when TikTok first got famous, like there was this dude in Germany who had what is it called? One of those like helmet cams.
Okay.
And he would go out there and play quarterback, and like he would like just share his whole experience. And I was like, bro, there's like football overseas, like are they even getting paid like that? And I was like, nah, that's not what I want to do. Like everybody's dreams go to the NFL, like get paid.
Of course.
Let me make my money. But like as it came down to it, I was like, my choices got narrowed down, I guess. And then one of my homies that played for a rival team, that played with my cousin, me and my cousin were like hella tight growing up. Like I didn't really meet until 8th grade. I didn't even know he was really my cousin, because like we're married into the family cousins. Like my auntie and his uncle got married, so like we're not blood, but he's my blood. Me and him like ride or die. But shout out my boy Kaipo. But me and him just been kicking it, and then he played high school ball together, and then he played 2 hours away in Wisconsin, and I played out here. And then his boy played in Germany last year, and I kind of hit him up, and I was like, hey bro, like I don't think I'm done playing ball, like I love it too much, like what can I do? And he referred me to Euros players. And like first couple of emails I sent out, he was like, bro, like I don't know if you're putting enough like of yourself, like trying to advertise yourself. He's like, bro, it's like you trying to get a job. Like you gotta put everything that you like earn, like whether that be actively, like whether that be school, sports, like you gotta show that you're all around like human being, and not just like a sports junkie. Like, and then so I was like, alright, cool, like filled out some of this stuff. He sent me like a little outline of what he did, and I'm like, oh, for sure. And he was like, maybe you can put your high school stuff in there, just because like where I went to high school is like a powerhouse, like back in AZ.
Yeah, I want to ask you about that too.
Like growing up, it was like I always played like really good football. Yeah. And like when I was young, I was a little bit chunkier, so I never made Papa Warner weight. I would be like I would have to play up. So my mom like found a league where it was like no weight limit, and it was like real football. Like you had like offensive linemen like growing up, like real often like big boys like Ray and stuff like that just running around. And then
at 13,
yeah, you got like track dudes like playing like skills positions and stuff like that. And I'm like, Mom, like I really want to try to play football. And she's like, okay, but like you probably gonna have to play with older dudes. And then she brought this up and was like, hey, like you can play real football, but you have to put your heart into it, because like I'm not gonna just put you out there and like waste my time. I'm like, alright, cool. And like at first, not gonna lie, I was like kind of scared of contact. I didn't really like it. I was like, what is this?
Before you played football, did you play any other sports?
I played like soccer, baseball, like kind of like normal type of stuff that like little kids would play. And like I was always dominant. Like I've always been pretty athletic. Like soccer, like my dad would bet me. He'd be like, every goal you have today, it'd be like $5-10. And then I would score like 10 goals, and he's like, bro, like,
for real?
Like, I don't know if I'm giving you 100 goals like that. I'm like, alright, I don't even care. Like, let me go get some ice cream or something. Give me some chips or something. But like always growing up being athletic, and my mom played at Oregon State for softball. So I had that background, and then my dad played football and baseball and stuff growing up. And my mom played baseball, track, volleyball, all types of stuff. So like just being from like an athletic family, I was like, shoot, like
I might as well try something.
Yeah, I might as well just keep playing. And I was like, football is like, it's got to be up there. And that's when Troy Polamalu was like really in the league, and I was like,
they say you look like Troy Polamalu. You think you look like Troy Polamalu?
I think it's just the hair.
We have to put it side by side. Episode.
Nah, but he was for sure my idol growing up. That's why I wear 43. And like seeing him play, and like one of the first games I ever saw was when he made the one-handed pick against the Chargers. And I was like, hey, yo, that's one of the toughest plays I've ever seen in my life. And I'm like, I want to be like that.
He was so special, because like I'm sure a lot of times he was told like he doesn't look the part, you know what I'm saying? He wasn't like long like usual safeties, but man, he was his motor was crazy. Like
instincts were nuts.
His instinct was crazy, and he just would like bring it every time. That's why I love him. I love him because he made athletic plays, but you looking at him, you're like, oh, okay, he's probably just a dang strong safety. He's gonna come down and cover 3 and lay somebody out. But he would jump over blockers and sack the quarterback and shit like that.
Jumping counts.
This is
like,
dope,
you're an animal, bro. Like, and that's like, and I was like, dang.
That's dope.
That's what I really want to make my game after. Like right now, like I say, like I don't care about my body because like I'm young, but like that's how he literally played.
Yeah,
like,
sure.
He just didn't care about his body.
Sometimes at points too, I'd be like, yo, what are you doing? Because he would go so hard all the time, like he would miss tackles. But that was just his speed. He's going hard every single time, and I love that about him. He was a dope player. He was a good player. Great player. Great.
Oh, amazing.
He's a great player.
But that's kind of how I just started, and I was like, let's get after it.
Yeah.
After that, and I like once I really got like the feel of like somebody like actually hitting you, and you gotta brace it or you gotta push like to get somebody off of you, and it's like I kind of like that now. It's like you can legally hit somebody and not get in trouble.
That's it.
Like you walk down the street, you punch somebody, and be like, bro, like come here, like I'm taking you to jail.
Exactly.
I'm pressing charges.
I think that point right there, like that sentiment about playing football in a contact sport when you're young, is even more of those, not like encouraging violence, but it's like if you're a kid and like myself, like if I was like, I wouldn't say I was a troubled kid, but I had like a broken family, so I had things that I was working on, and football helped me expel demons or expel stresses that I would have as a kid, and you don't know how to express yourself as a kid, but you know that I can go out and lay somebody out, and it's legal. Yes. No one's gonna yell at you. They're probably just gonna say, "Nice job." You know what I'm saying? So I was like, okay, this is something that I can rock with, because I used to fight in school, like literally, like knuckle up. And then my mother was like, "Nah, we gotta change this," you know, and that's how I started football. But that's dope. Like in the Hawaiian culture, what is Hawaii Polynesian or Samoan? Like what's the difference?
I would say I'll break it down like this. So Polynesian is kind of like how Asian, like so Asians have like their big like.
Polynesian is the like state.
Yeah. Yes. And then
or the country.
Yes. And then you would have like break-offs. So you have Asian, you have like Chinese, Japanese, Koreans. And then the Polynesians, you have like Hawaiians, Tongans, Samoans, Cook Island, Maori.
The region.
Yes.
Polynesian region.
Yes. And then they call it the Polynesian Triangle because it goes from Hawaii to New Zealand and Easter Island, and whatever is inside the Polynesian Triangle, you're yes.
Okay.
And then you have like Melanesian, I believe, but there's like culture like Polynesian.
Those is black Polynesians. like that.
Yeah. Let me show you but it's literally right next to the Polynesian Triangle, and like there are some people that literally look black but they're Polynesian,
right?
And like
that's cool.
It's just crazy because like some people like they'll make fun of them and be like blah blah blah, like just like it's just friendly jokes. Like when you're with your friends, like you just joke around. Like I wouldn't say like it's like racist jokes. Like when you have like I have like a.
But there's like Spanish people that are black.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
Like Cubans, for example. Yeah.
So you have Polynesia, like the Polynesian Triangle, and you have like Melanesian, Micronesian.
Okay. Wow.
And like, yeah, we can. We'll show you.
I'm gonna put it up.
Oh yeah, show you guys. But like, yeah, you can for sure.
I never knew that.
Yeah.
So this is where like Fiji.
Yeah, and that's.
So this is where you'll have the more melanated people.
Yeah.
And they're Polynesian still.
We don't really call Polynesian.
But like island people.
Yeah, they're Melanesian, I guess you could say.
Interesting.
But they're darker colored. Like for sure, like when you say like Dominicans or like Cubans are like more darker skin, like more Spanish speaking people, which is like crazy.
Yeah, because even I'm not like a geography buff, but I know where we are in the world. And when I think of southwest of the USA, where you get into Hawaii and you get into like Samoa and all those places, I had no idea there's that many islands in this area.
Yeah,
that's amazing. Between Hawaii and Japan, there's all these islands.
And that's like one thing I haven't even like discovered myself, and like that's one thing I kind of want to do after this season, if I don't get to go play somewhere else. But like I really hope I get to go play like in Japan or Germany, or like because I just love traveling, and like got back from Madrid, like that was a crazy trip. Slovakia was fun, like just seeing like all these different places compared to back home, and like I think like the biggest like thing from out here and back home is like the structure of building.
Sure.
Because like back home, like you don't get like these castles and like all these like parliaments and stuff like that. And you look and you're like, oh my god.
It's like every day you see history, and not just like 100 years or 200 years. You're seeing like 500 years and beyond. Like even if you go to like Istanbul or something like that, or Japan or China, you know what I'm saying? You're seeing ancient history. Like literally, you're walking through ancient history.
Yes.
It's amazing. And I even have to ask people, even here in Budapest, it's like when you go across the bridge, do you understand how beautiful this scenery is? You know what I'm saying? Do you appreciate it? And I'm not asking you like in a condescending way, but like, do you think about it? Some people say, of course, like we know this. It's a beautiful country. We know this is a beautiful city, but other people is just like,
I grew up here, like, this is like the only thing.
Exactly,
like, bro. Like back home, we don't get this.
Don't get
like, everything is like brand new. Like they tear down everything and put like the most new things ever, like for everything. And I'm like, bro, like it's cool and all, but like at the same time, it's like just seeing stuff that happened in the past. It's like, I wouldn't say like how did they make this, but like how did they make it? Like, you know what I mean? It's like
the architecture is like incredible. It's still standing to this day. It's
beautiful inside.
Yeah, it's just like decorated inside and outside. It's amazing. And that's amongst other things of me being like interested in ancient history, but like being able to feel this and be amongst this type of scenery and this type of history was one of the biggest reasons why I wanted to travel as well. So the same with you, man. It's just like every time I look around and you still discover things. Like I was on a run yesterday and I went down the street and I was like, wow, like this building with these like huge statues in front of it. And I was like, right around the corner from my house. It's wild. It's wild.
Yeah, it's like especially like when we went, me and Raycon went to Madrid.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out my homie Carlos. Yeah, you showed me a good time out there. Appreciate you, my boy. Food was amazing. Everything.
How good of a time did you?
Oh my god, it for sure one of my favorite trips like I've ever done in my life. Like from the food, from like seeing the nightlife, like buildings. Like we went into the castle and like we were in there for like 45 minutes and they only had like half of the second floor open, and I'm like, bro, like how long would this take for like a regular human being just like walk through all this?
Bro, you gotta go to the Vatican, so Rome. That would have a time. Oh my lord! And
Rome,
like
cleaning it all, and I'm like, bro, like the amount of maids, bro, had to be like, bro, just go clean this. Like he had like a million waiting rooms. I'm like, he was like,
the king?
Yes, the king. He was like, if somebody came, you would have to go sit in this waiting room, and then you meet some of his friends, and if they give the approval, then you go meet different friends, and then maybe you can go see the king after that.
Oh, sure.
And like they had like all types of stuff, like literally saying like what this room was used for, and it was like, yeah, you could wait here for like 2 weeks waiting for the king to maybe accept you to go talk to you. And I'm like, bro, what? And like they had like armory rooms where like you could go see all types of armors and stuff like that. And like I like that kind of stuff. It's like even like look at like samurais and stuff like that, and like I'm kind of like a little anime guy, so like see like samurai or like even like the old Hawaiian, like how they fought and like stuff like that, like shark teeth and stuff like that, and like just seeing how they would like how everything evolved, like just how we evolved, like it's just crazy technology involved and like just seeing all types of stuff, and it's like literally in one spot.
Yeah. They have some castles in Hungary that you could try on armor and stuff like that, which is cool.
I never did that. So
I gotta look some up and I'll let you know. But there's I love that stuff too. There's places where you can go and then put on like the helmets, hold the swords and the shields and stuff like that. Medieval time it is though. Speaking of warriors, do you do the haka? And if you do, can you show us? Is that like from Hawaii as well? Like, do you guys do that?
It's started mainly in New Zealand.
Okay, yeah. So all blacks.
All blacks, yeah. And it's pretty much a war cry.
Good.
And like growing up, I played with a lot of Polynesians. Like I played with Tripama's nephews, and like I had a bunch of homies. Like their parents are straight from Samoa, and like.
Wow.
like stuff like that. So like we did the haka growing up, and then even in high school, like my high school coach was from Hawaii. We did the haka.
Oh, sweet.
So it's like it's still rooted in me, and like when I got to college, it felt kind of weird, like not doing the haka before a game, or like even out here, I'm like how do I hype myself
You
up?
should teach us this. That would be crazy.
I
The Saints where we doing the haka, like.
No, like that. Yeah, it was like I doing it right now. Probably not. But like yeah, for sure. Like I feel like when I did the haka growing up, like I could feel like my ancestors, like getting like chicken skin or like goosebumps and stuff like that, like while doing it, and like just feeling like my ancestors and like
you really tapping in.
yeah, like really tapping in like some Avatar state type stuff, like and like it just really like got me hyped, and it felt like, or even like watching like Vikings and stuff, and they give like war cries and stuff like that. I'm like, dang, like that's getting me pumped, like
wow.
And like growing up is like, damn, like after I do the haka, like I just want to kill somebody, like
we'll cut that out.
like
we'll bleep that out.
But like in football, it's like I want to go down there and like I want to hit somebody. Like I feel like even out here, like I've made that like one of my like statements, I guess, is like going down there for kickoff and like it just low key making somebody do a backflip, and I'm like let's get after it. And like I still get butterflies, like no matter like how old I get, like I get butterflies in my stomach. It's like I don't know if like it's if I'm like scared or if it's telling me like I'm ready to play, but like I always get butterflies and I'm out there like I get nervous. I'm like, oh bro. Like,
me too. But have you always been this way, or are you feeling this way because I won't lead you. Have you always felt like this playing football before the game started?
Oh yeah, I feel like I always get nervous before like playing anything.
Okay.
Like even this, like I got butterflies, like trying to set myself up and be like, oh, like what am I gonna talk about?
That could be. It's nerves, but I think for the most part, if you have nerves and you don't execute, then that means that you're nervous and you're not focused and you're not ready. But if you're nervous and you end up executing and you end up feeling fine and you feel you have that flow, it's because you're ready. I think you're more tapped in and you're worried about messing up. So when it's time, like when the lights are on, it's time to perform, you're actually operating at a high level. I was the same way. And the reason why I asked you, I was gonna lead you and ask you, did you always feel this way, or did you start feeling this way in Europe? Because you mentioned that you always did the haka growing up, right? Mm-hmm. And this is really interesting. When I was playing football growing up, I always had this really odd feeling in my stomach. And I was like, what is it like? I know all the plays, I practice well. Why do I feel nervous in the game time? So this would happen all the time. Even like one time in college, in high school, I started crying because I was just so like hyped. You know what I'm saying? Like, why am I crying? You know? When I got to college, one day my coach, he's just like, Andre, why are you nervous? He's just like, I was like, I don't know, coach. I just be nervous before the game. He's like, you should just go jerk off or something. Like, coach, what? But you know what? When I was in college, before every single game, I had the feeling to yell. When I had this feeling, I wanted to like scream, but I was like, this is gonna be weird. People are gonna be like, what's wrong with you? You know? But it was so much of this like energy. It was just energy waiting to like leave, and I wanted to like just let it out, kind of like when Goku turns to Super Saiyan. You know what I'm saying? Like I felt that's what I should be doing, but I never did it until I got to Europe, and I was more vocal. So I wasn't like literally like screaming out on top of my lungs, but I was just like speaking more, and I would just let it out. And when I came to Europe, I had the best years of football in my life. I mean, granted, I got older and wiser, but this is the feeling of the game approaching the game. You know what I'm saying? So I think there could be something to that. You know, when you say you're connected to the spirits, you're connected to your ancestors. When you start to raise that level of vibration, you're letting something out of your spirit, but you're also connecting with something, and that probably just lets you feel more free. you know?
For sure. Like now that you say that, like when you say like you get that little energy of like you just want to like scream or do something. Like in college, like I coped that with like dancing.
Okay.
And like I love music. Like I'll listen to all types of music. Like
you listen to techno?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. All you techno haters out there. My man over here listens to everything, even techno. All right, we'll go back.
I listen to techno. I'll fit over to some techno. I'll get down with some hip hop, you know what I mean? Some rap, like some reggae, some country music. Okay. Like I'll tap into everything. But like yeah, like you said, like the burst of energy that I'm like, I want to dance. And like I always put on my aux and stuff. Like different teams have different personalities. Yeah. Like my team, like in college, like we were always like kind of goofy, like messing around, and like we had like older style coaches who are like who believe like when you're focused, like you're quiet, you're really locked in, and like I don't know, maybe it's a different brand of football that's coming out. Like I feel like TikTok and stuff kind of has like a little like influence, like especially like celebrations and stuff. Like these little kids score a touchdown, they be like dancing with their phone and like Instagram live. I'm like, bro, yo, why?
I mean, listen, TikTok, I would say it cast a big wide net like across the world. But I mean, you always had like dancing. You always had flamboyancy in football and sports like that. But I think you're right, like the old school coaches, and I think I still have this. I have this ingrained in me, but it's not like I can't deviate off that path. Like I do believe a lot in that like structure, that hard-nosed stuff, but at the same time you have to feel comfortable. You have to feel loose. Like even when I wasn't going to school, we had some guys that were more loose, that weren't so like, you know, militant and stuff like this. And those dudes was ballers too. You know what I'm saying? You have to know who you are. The person has to know who they are, because sometimes that person needs to be militant, or sometimes that militant person needs to be a little bit more loose. You know what I'm saying? So they all work together. They all work together. You just have to see how you flow. You see how you execute. But if you're goofing off and you're not executing, you probably need to be a little bit more structured. You know what I'm saying? But that's dope. That's cool. Your journey from, I mean, you kind of glossed over it a little bit. Like your journey from elementary, high school to college, like what was that journey? I mean, like, as you know, in the USA, high school football is like, it's I don't know it's a foundation for all college players, you know what I'm saying? But what you experience in high school really like carries you through
the rest of your life, pretty much.
Your college, pros, into the rest of your life. What was high school football like for you? Because I know you played in the West Coast, and I know the level is super high. So it's like for all the audience who understand football, interested in football, maybe interested in high school football, may understand what it is like to play high school football, but not at the top level and the top audiences in the country. Tell them how it is firsthand.
So playing for Chandler High School in Arizona was for sure one of the most like humbling experiences I've had. Like I'm happy that I want to do it, like for sure, because like we made some like dudes out there, like Nikhil Harry played for us. Like we've had some like dogs, like NFL caliber dudes.
And you knew they were going to the NFL in high school?
Oh, they just look different.
Wow.
Like, you could just tell. Like
wow.
When the dude's like 6'2", 220, playing wide receiver in high school.
And moving fast.
Just like throwing dudes around and mossing them. You're like, bro, like what is this dude? Like how do you even like why?
Wow.
But like the preparation that goes into all of it in the background is crazy.
In high school football.
Oh yeah. Cause like they treated us like a D1. And like game weeks, you better have 2 to 3 hours of film like by Wednesday. And if you don't have another 2 to 3 hours by game time, oh yeah, you're not playing. Like you better be locked in on your film. And then we would get like packets every week, and we would have to know everybody on the offense, like especially play defense, like as a linebacker, safety, like you better know the O-line, quarterback, running back, wide receivers, like tight end, H-backs, who's coming in, tendencies.
And this is in high school, right?
Yeah, this is in high school.
I just want to reiterate, this is in high school.
This is in high school, for sure, high school. And like we would turn in these packets, like coach would give us these packets every week, and you would have to learn top 3 run plays and top 3 pass plays in 6 different formations, and favorite 6 every week, no matter what. You have to know their number, their name, their age, like crazy stuff, height, weight, and like every Thursday we'd have this leadership. And Coach Scott, one of my favorite coaches, like he still like does leadership stuff everywhere, like great dude, great content. And he would bring in like judges, lawyers, like police officers, ex-NFL dudes, like anybody to come talk to us and become better men. And that was one thing that my school did, was like we became better men, not only on the football field, but off the football field. And like every year, like one of our first things is like table etiquette. Like when we go, because we'd have team dinners every Thursday, and we go out and it's like, if you don't have etiquette, like you get kicked out, you're not playing, like stuff like that. Like you gotta know where the fork goes, like stuff like that. When you take your napkin off, like where to put it. And coach was like, this isn't only gonna help you here, but like when you go like to a business meeting, or like you try to sign a contract with somebody, like you gotta show that you like you've been there without being there. And that was like one of my favorite things. So we would have team dinner on Thursdays, and then go to leadership. Coach Scott would bring in somebody, talk to us for probably 45 to an hour, and then we would get quizzed. And there'd be like an auditorium, 120 dudes. They'd be like, Javen, stand up. They'd be like, what's this formation? What's the top 3 run plays, top 3 pass plays? I'd be like twins, and you got zone, inside zone, blah, blah, blah. You get it wrong, you might not start the next day. Coach might pull your jersey, like next dude stepping up, like crazy stuff like that. And it's like, oh my God.
It teaches you at an early age, like to be disciplined and to like know your craft, know your stuff, you know? And this is like the things that I try to help encourage. Obviously, it's not going to be at this magnitude because guys don't have that much time, and they don't have that much time to put towards that. So we try to just kind of tease them with what it is to be a football player. Because I think in Europe, people, for the most part, everyone is looking at football by what they see at the highest level and on TV. Some of it's like glamorized and stuff like that. They don't really know what it really takes. So I think it's really important to not only share what it is like. You didn't even get to the football field yet. You got to all the preparation stuff before you get to the field, you know? And I think that's really important for the youngsters coming up, and even the guys and the veterans that are playing right now. You know, it takes more than like
biggest, strongest.
Yeah, it takes more than that brawn. It takes brains too. You know, to play the game, you have to be prepared mentally. Yeah. Be prepared mentally. 100%.
Even like every day, like we go in, we have an hour lift, hour run, and then they would feed us probably like. You get like 2 peanut butter sandwiches, and then you get like a granola bar, and then you get a protein shake. And then you go watch film for an hour before you even got to the field, and got to 2.5, 3 hours of just beating on each other. Yeah. So like that stuff. And then even outside of football, we had mentors, like which would be teachers. And shout out my teacher, Miss Rolando, still one of my favorite human beings. I'm still in contact with her today. Like, she's still one of my mentors, but every time I'm back home, go chop it up with her. She makes sure I'm okay.
That's
like,
awesome.
Doing stuff like that. But like every week, they would make sure, they were like literally our second moms. So like, did you get this done? Like, blah, blah, blah. Like, are you still on your schoolwork? Like, I see this. Like, what are you doing? Like, what happened? Why'd you get a C on this? And I'm like, sorry, like, it's not focused.
It's hard out there. It's hard out there.
And she's like, well, that's not an excuse. Like, if you're gonna go play football somewhere, you better get it done.
Yeah.
Like, you sound like my mom back home. Like, just hearing it, like, sometimes, like, even as a kid, like, you just hear your parents say something, you're like, bro, like, nah.
Until somebody reinforces it.
And then, like, you go say it to your mom, like, I've been told you that. I'm like, I know, like, I'm sorry. Like,
I bet parents, I'm not a parent, but I bet parents, they get a little offended, right? Because like they birthed you and they're trying to instill these morals and these etiquettes and these things, all these things to help you be a better person. And like as a child, you're a rebel. You're like, whatever mom, whatever dad, right? But it takes you it sometimes it takes somebody else with a different perspective, a different way of saying it, for you to be like, aha, you know? And then when you go present this new knowledge to your parents, you're just like, what? I've been trying to tell you this.
Exactly.
Because they're human too, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Nah, but I think I hear you. I hear you 100%. And that's part of the journey. So I wanted, I'm happy that you expressed that level and what it takes to be a top football player. You played at the highest level. You guys were like ranked in USA, right?
Yeah, we were top 20 every year that I played over there. I have 3 state titles there. And like played great dudes like Brock Purdy, like played against him, like dude was an animal ever since growing up. So
really?
Like I'm not surprised he went to the big ball and stuff like that.
Wow.
Like even seeing the Kill Harry, you know, like Chase Lucas who plays like Lions and like stuff like that. It's like just seeing this level of competition, like growing up from a young age, it's like there's more, like there's just more everywhere, you know what I mean? Like more ways to grow your body, mind, stuff like that. So it's like it was like really encouraging, like growing up. Like even when I got to college, like college was a different grind because like we had COVID. And and COVID happened my freshman year. Yeah.
Fresh out.
So like we had my first season, went through it, we did alright, 7-3. Like we should have won those games we lost, to be honest. Like we were up by like 14 points, at least by 1 point. And then COVID happened, and then next year we didn't get to have a season. But like we still, like coaches stayed on us. Like we'd always have like meetings and stuff like that. Like linebackers get together for 2 hours a week and like we'll go over film, make sure everybody's still like working out, stuff like that, checking in. And, like that goes a long way. Like, just like still checking up on people. Like,
But when COVID happened, if you were in school, did you go home?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we were on spring break.
Yeah.
And everybody was going different places, but I just stayed back on college on campus because like I didn't want to go on spring break.
So you could stay at school.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I stayed.
No, during COVID.
Oh no. Oh well, foreign exchange students you could.
Okay.
But I went home.
Okay, got you.
So, but like when it all like started really happening, it was on spring break.
Right.
But instead of going to Lauderdale or someplace like that, I stayed on campus and just kicked it. Because honestly, back then, like I was more stingy with my money. Like I wasn't like trying to go out like spend the money myself. So it was like I'll just stay home. In my college dorm, like I'll get my lips in, be locked in. And then they started sending emails like COVID this, COVID that. I'm like, bro, what's going on? And they're like, you guys got to pack your stuff and you guys got to be out in a week.
Wow.
And I'm like, bro, what do you mean?
What's going on?
And like everybody like who's traveling was like really trying to get back. And I'm like already back. And I'm like, all right, cool. Like it is what it is. So I start packing. And then we get sent home.
They didn't tell you guys what was happening?
No, they just pretty much told me like there was like a pandemic going around. Like people are starting to catch cases. Like we want to send you guys home with your families before anything happened. Like, cause like they started shutting stuff down. Like flying was like very limited. So like if you could get home, they wanted you to get home. And I was like, thank you very much. So like I was already there, packed my stuff up, got on a flight like 2 days later, and then got back home. And then we were supposed to come back in the fall, and then COVID was still happening and still big and stuff, and so we didn't go back. But when that spring came back, I feel like that's when the team, we took it to like a next level in college. It's like we woke up and had to be at the weight room by 4:45 for stretches, and like we didn't get done until like 7:30, 7:45. We had like an hour of running, hour of conditioning, hour of a lift, and like you just circuit through. And that brought the, like in my opinion, brought the team together because like there's not very much teams who got to be there before 5 a.m., 6 a.m. in the morning grinding for 3 hours and have practice and film and stuff. So like I think that's when like we really started taking it to the next level in my college. So by my junior year, we had a bunch of dogs that were like, let's get after it. Won our first conference title, and then came back my senior year, won another one. And then like at that point, we already made history back to back because that was the first time ever in
conference championships.
Yeah, in our at our college. So I was like, shoot, might as well come back 3rd year. And then I was like, dude. And then I heard about my homie in Germany, and I was like, shoot, I kind of want to build more film. I already had a decent amount of film, but I'm happy I came back for that 5th year because I had like 2 pick sixes. I got more fumbles and stuff like that, so I could put like a little bit more stuff into my film, which was really cool. But I mean, just like the journey of like having that COVID year to come back and then just leading me here, even like my experience here has been crazy.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you. I mean, I'm not gonna ask you like. So, what was the journey from college to Europe? I mean, you're here already, you know. So, like, my biggest thing is, what's your biggest take from being here in Europe up to this point? I mean, you've already been to different countries already in a short amount of time. Like, what is your biggest kind of like? Yeah, what's your biggest take? What's your biggest perspective or impression? What's your biggest impression?
Impression here? Oh, I love it. Like, from the owner Attila to like people who work in the office to the team, like everybody, I feel like is close knit like a football team back home. Like when you go to practice, everybody goes up to everybody. Hello, how you doing? Like I really enjoy that because like in college, like my locker was the first locker that I walked in. So I dap with everybody, like, hello, how you doing today? Like, you feeling all right? Like, blah, blah, blah. Like, so, like, just coming out here and seeing that, like, they show you, like, you're, like, literally family. And, like, that's one big thing that I grew up on was family.
Right.
And, like, coming literally halfway across the world was, like, oh, bro, I don't know how I'm going to do it. Like, it's kind of scary, but, like, that's for sure. Like they show love out here. Like even when we go out to places, like,
yeah, sure.
Like they for sure know we're not from here. So it's like,
were your parents kind of like reluctant for you to come out here?
Nah.
No. Or has pulled you back?
No. My dad kind of was like, if this is what you want to do, like you better put your full heart into it, like you've always done. And like I know you like growing up, like I was honestly better at baseball. Like. Growing up, like I had a couple like MLB scouts like talk to me like I could have played in like area code, like which is like one of like the bigger like things you could play like for baseball and stuff like that. But like I always like the contact and I always like this and that. And my dad was like, if this is what you want to do, bro, like go do it. Like go make a name for yourself anywhere out there in the world, bro. Like it's yours to conquer.
Right.
And it was like having that like foundation kind of helped me. It was like. I could really do this. Like, I could make something out of myself. Like,
for sure.
Even like back home, it's like people are like still scared to like leave Arizona or leave like their hometown.
Even
like,
in the state,
like move to like a different state. I'm like, bro, just do it. Like, you only live once.
Get up and get out, and you'll see your whole horizons will change. Your whole world will change.
Like you meet new people. Like out here meeting you and Raekwon, like first like right off the plane, like you picking me up, like. Really made me happy because like I was like, dude, if I land, like I'm gonna have to take a tram or something. I'm scared, like I don't know what to do, like blah blah blah. But I mean, like my homie just came from Chicago and he's studying abroad in Barcelona. And he called me out of the blue and he's like, bro, I'm freaking out. Like, how do I communicate with people? Like, what do I do when I get off the plane? I'm like, bro, calm down, bro. Like you'll be fine. Like, yes, bro. Like a lot of people like. That work in like those touristy areas, like most of them speak English, and if they don't speak English, they're gonna pull out a tablet.
Yeah.
And you just go up and be like, "You speak English? I need help." Like that's the first step. And he's like, "Bro, like that's still scary because like even back home, bro, like to ask somebody for help is like
tablet.
And like why are you talking to me, bro? Like figure it out." So like, but like I feel like out here, like people are willing to help you. Yeah, more open to help you, like, especially because like. Out here, I feel like public transportation is way bigger than back home. Because like back home, everybody has a car. You carpool with somebody. Like, not very much people take the buses, or like we don't even have very much trains. But I know that where you're from, we have a little bit more.
But even still, like even in regions in New York, Northeast, up and down the Northeast, when you go to Vermont, Massachusetts, Maine, Hampshire, the shopping center is like. 40 minutes away from your house or something like that. You need everyone's in the car for sure.
Yeah. So like him like doing that, I'm like, he was like, bro, you had a tour guide when you first came, so like you gotta help me, and I'm like, bro, like you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Bro. Like I feel like everybody's a little bit more willing to talk to you out here. I don't know if it's because we're different or
could be a little bit of that. I think you're different, so the interest is a little bit increased. But Europe, in the main sense, in my opinion, is just a more relaxed, more like a cool atmosphere. You know what I'm saying? For the most part, obviously there's still a lot of like tension between different peoples and stuff like that. But I think the mindset is a lot more calmer, relaxed. Yeah. Everyone's not on edge, for the most part. So I think it makes it easier for you to walk up to somebody. You might not be able to connect and communicate with them, but for you to be like, hello, they might be, hey, and not give you some type of like, why are you sitting close to me? Why are you next to me? Type thing,
Yeah, for sure.
That's cool. Okay, I'm gonna ask you this question because this is how I usually end the talks, right? But I'm gonna ask you this question, and I feel like it's gonna bring us into a new kind of like segment, all right? So if you could tell someone, if you could tell me, you could tell the audience, like this show is called The Essence Extracts. Like, what is your essence that you would tell or you would show or you would share for someone to understand exactly who JAVAN, I'm not gonna say the rest of your name is, because I'm gonna butcher it. Your essence.
Like, what do you mean by essence? Like,
if you could say 3 to 5, maybe 3 to 10 words of what describes you, and not just on the surface, but like truly within you, truly within yourself, what would those words be, or what would that phrase be, or what would that sentence be?
That's a good question. I like that question. I would say, like, I couldn't even give like a sentence, but I would give like a couple words where it's like, I would say goofy, because like, I don't know, I like to play around, mess around, make jokes. Like, I love to smile. Like, I feel like that's probably one of my favorite like features I have about myself is like my smile. So it's like, I feel like I can bring like happiness to somebody by just like simply smiling at them or like saying hello, like how are you doing today? So it's like I have like a little bit of goofiness in myself where it's like, even like when I go out to places, I'll be like, I'm gonna dance around, I'm gonna mess around with people around me, like it is what it is. And then I would say like intense at the same time, because like there are things about me where it's like I really lock in and I'm like very intense about it. Like football is like one thing. Like when I'm on the field, it's like I bring the goofiness, but when the play's going, I have to have that intensity. Because like if I don't have that intensity, I feel like I'm not playing football. Like I feel like I'm not locked in. I'm not doing what I have to do for the team or for everybody else. Like even myself, like doing it simply for myself. Like as selfish as that seems, it's like you gotta do it for yourself before you can do it for somebody else. Like that's like loving yourself before you can love somebody else. And then I don't even know. I would say like maybe like a jack of all trades.
Okay.
Like, I like to like listen to music. I can dance a little bit. I love cooking. That was like one thing my mom taught me from when I was a little kid. Like when I first started playing sports, it was like mom was like, if you're hungry, go cook up something for yourself. Like, and then like sadly, like she got in a car accident. Left side of her like body was partially paralyzed, and she walked with a cane. So like after that, it's like I really like learned how to cook. Like my dad was on the road working in the mines, like making money, making sure like I could still play the sports I loved, and make sure everybody in the family was eating. Like my brothers were playing football too, so it was like a lot from my dad and my mom to be like, I guess like separated, but not separated at the same time. I mean, because like either way, yeah. But like, and then being like the oldest person in the family is like, I had to take that role of being like kind of like a leader, and like, but having like the boundary of like trying to be a parent and still trying to be your sibling at the same time. It was kind of hard for me growing up, and like I think that made me a better leader.
Yeah, sure.
Cause like I could talk to somebody and be like, hey, you gotta do this, this, and this, without really like trying to be down your throat all the time. Like somebody like a boss, like at work, like even when you think of a boss, it's like
stress.
Like,
Not encouraged to just stress you out.
So it's like when you connect with somebody on a different level, like you like even like doing it now, like trying to be a coach and a player at the same time, kind of has like the fine line of like, what the fuck are you doing? Pardon my French, but like, what are you doing? But at the same time, trying to coach them to be better, because like maybe they haven't had the coaching that we had growing up, and like
definitely did.
Like
for majority of them, yeah, for sure.
So it's like just trying to have like the calmness of not trying to like blow up all the time and be like, what the like I like pulling out my hair, and it's like it's like just similar to when I was growing up. It was like making the boundary of like being the coach and the player, like sibling and like a leader, I guess. And I feel like that's just one thing I could put up there as like a leader, like even like being a team captain growing up and like showing by example. Because like I'm kind of shy, but when you get to know me, I'm blabbing a lot. but like even like just going like 100%, like no matter what I do is like I just try to show by example rather than yelling at people. Like I'd rather like show you what I'm about. Like go to practice, I'm gonna run 100% to the ball. I'm gonna do this and that, and like not slack off. So like that's what I expect from the next person. You know, it's like if I'm gonna give my 100, you better give yours, and that's how I feel like you can build trust on the football team. It's like when you see your boy working next to you, and you're like, come on, let's get after it, and like. People say like there's no other feeling like that. Like I talked to my coach who was a Marine, who took me in this past fall. Shout out Coach Dodd, real dude right there. But he even said like when he trained the SEALs, like he was a SEAL himself, and he was like, when I train them, it's like there's nothing like when you bring like 100 dudes in and you build that trust. He's like, this closer than you can get is the military, and it's really still not the same thing, which is like really crazy because it's like. You literally gotta trust the person next to you with your life. So it's like having that same like intensity and feeling on the football field, just making sure. And I feel like we've done a pretty good job as a team, like making sure that everybody feels welcome. Like, cause like just coming out here, like they've shown me nothing but respect. Like they make sure we're always okay. Like. And I'm really blessed and happy to have that, because like being halfway across the world is like culture shock. It's like I'm scared, like blah blah blah. But like when you have like that supporting people behind you, just I don't know, I feel to be honest.
Is there anything you want to share? Anything you want to tell the audience that is like a inspiration for you, or something that you could like almost not your essence, but something almost like what you're striving to be now, like the next stage of your life?
Oh, next stage.
Like, or you know, your plan. It could be like a plan. It could be like something that you're aspiring to be after football, for example.
I would say like building a brand.
Okay.
Like out here, like I feel like I should start building a brand just because like. It's different because like I'm living in Europe, I'm playing American football, and it's like it's not big out here. And it's like just like sharing experiences with the rest of the world and being like, you can do it too. Like we talked about it earlier. It's like people in the States are scared to like move to a different state or move to a different country. It's like if you get the chance and you can fund it and like make it happen, make it happen. Like no matter what, like chase your dreams is what I would say. It's like I know like I wouldn't say it's not necessarily my dream because I want to be in the NFL, but I'm still playing football and doing things that I love, like traveling and stuff like that. And that's always been a dream of mine. Like we talked about it earlier, it was like as a little kid, I didn't really want to go anywhere until I started traveling, and like. It's been a dream to like see the world, and like I've already seen so much different places that my parents have even seen, or my grandparents, and they're like, keep doing it. Like expand your horizons, go see different places. Like, don't be scared to pull the trigger on anything.
Right.
Like, if you invested in yourself, that at the end of the day, it's like you invest in yourself, like loving yourself, like, well, just do it.
Keep going.
Like,
Just keep loving up.
Yeah,
Word.
for sure.
Well, I appreciate you, man.
Appreciate you
Nice to
having
have
me.
you. Of course.
Thank you.
We got a long season ahead. You know, we're gonna get somebody over here for part 2. So maybe if you down, get another part as well down the road.
Always down.
But I appreciate you coming to share with us, share with me. I'm definitely gonna look up this triangle structure. That stuff is fascinating to me. Like all those little islands, like what? And it's called like Melanesia too. Like it's got my brain going. I'm about to go down a rabbit hole and stuff like that. But I appreciate you,
Yes,
and I look forward to seeing you grow. This is your first year out here, your first time out here, so I'm definitely gonna be somebody that's in your corner, pushing you, as well as Ray, and see you guys do some really cool things.
Appreciate it.
All right, so appreciate you one more time,
Thank
and thanks for gracing us with your presence.
Yes, sir.
And what do you guys do? This is
Shaka.
This is called Shaka.
Yes, sir.
Well,
Like hiding by, like
Shaka.
yeah, like shoots, shoots everybody.
Yeah. So shoots. Thanks for watching, guys. This is the Essence Extracts with JAVAN Ah Quinn. Peace.
Another Dander production.